Okay. Hey, welcome to the video. Welcome to the channel. My name is Christopher Buell, and I do non-emergency transportation sales. Today we are sitting down with Mark, and it is our second time sitting down for the day. I'm not going to lie to you, we had a pretty amazing interview earlier, a few hours ago, and I did not hit the record button in the way that I thought I did. And so we're back for round two. So if today's interview doesn't seem as fresh, that's because it's not. But we're going to still try and make it fun, and we're going to still try and remember a lot of the points we talked about. This is someone that I've been very excited to bring on the channel. We've been trying for a while to get together. Again, go ahead. Let me throw it to you, Mark. Tell us who you are and what you do.
Hello, everybody. I want to thank Chris for having me. My name is Mark Mathieu. I own and operate Dependable medical transportation. I started the business in 2016, and over the course of that short time, made some changes and pivoted in some other directions. But it's going well. And earlier, me and Chris talked about how I got started in the business. After high school, I was always involved in some type of business of my own, whether it be janitorial, landscaping, maintenance, handyman services. I always felt the need to be my own boss. I really enjoy it. And I landed in the non-emergency medical transportation business because friends of mine were doing it at the time. And I thought, well, let me give this a try. And I've been here ever since, and I enjoy it.
So, I don't think I asked you earlier, and if I did, I don't remember, but what was the competition like when you first began? Were there many people doing it?
Yes, they were, and it continues to be a lot of people doing it. And I have friends who are doing it now who are actually struggling a little bit with the business. They have this fear of branching out and doing other things, like a lot of private pay accounts, going after like assisted living. You can transport for school, because some kids, even if not in a wheelchair, some kids can't be transported on a bus with other students due to specific health reasons. So they will often hire private transportation. So looking into various school districts is another good opportunity to earn private pay money, no insurance work.
Do you do this now? So this is new information we did not discuss on our first interview. That's how much of the work you do is schoolwork? Is it, one transport a week or one a month? I mean, what?
No, I transport 5 students back and forth to school.
And where do you go? How do you get student transports?
You go to the school, the counselor's office, because they know the students that need the transportation.
So wait. Go to any school and just ask to speak with the office. Let them know you're a non-emergency transport driver, and they will get you connected with the correct people.
Correct. The smaller schools, that's how you would do it. If it's a bigger district, then every school district has a transportation department. Then you would call that district and ask for the transportation department. And then from there, they would lead you to the person who makes those decisions to bring on another transportation company or try another transportation company.
How is the pay?
It's great.
Really? And so, and you're billing the school or the
No, the school pays. They pay like $55 each way.
How did you figure that out?
A friend of mine that owns a very large limousine service here, he was getting calls from school districts because they need to get these kids transported, and they didn't know what to do. So obviously they're going to call limousine companies because they have vehicles. Wow. And he said, sorry, no, I don't transport to schools, but I have a friend that has a non-emergency medical transportation business because they were looking for somebody with a wheelchair. And that's how I stumbled upon it, just networking with other outfits. And that's another good point, Chris, I didn't bring up earlier. Contact some of the limousine companies, do a trade-off with them. Say, look, if you get calls for stuff you can't do, or out of your realm, let's trade off. I'll pass out your information to my passengers about your limousine services, and you pass off my information about my, non-emergency medical transportation services.
You know what? I actually was making some calls for, so, my full-time job is doing sales for certain non-emergency
Right.
companies. And I was calling to a different city. And I was doing a little market research, okay? Because the people I work for want to expand there.
Mm-hmm.
What are the rates? We all want to know the rates. So I called several non-emergency companies and I said, listen, that's what we do. We're not in your city. But if I ever catch someone that I could refer to you, I want to know your rates and I'll tell you mine and I'll be honest. And I gave them our rates and they gave me theirs. But you know what? There were some good connections made. And there were people that said, we have transports in your city. Again, it's one of these things that you never know, man. You never know that
never
your
know.
conceivably competitors can give you business. Okay. One of the main reasons why I wanted to interview you and I had a talk, I don't know when, several weeks ago, and this is something that it stuck out to me that was so fascinating, which is you said to me, I gave up my Medicare, Medicaid. I'm walking away from that. I want no part of it. I'm focusing on private pay. And you're the perfect guy for me to talk to because the truth is I never did a lot of it. I have a little bit of experience. I do more private pay. That was always that's my channel is doing private pay.
Right.
So we have a lot of new viewers that they just want to go get Medicaid dollars, and I wanted to have you on specifically to discuss your experience with being a Medicaid provider.
Yes. Medicaid has actually reduced their rates over the past few years in New York State. So it's beginning to get harder and harder to make money with the Medicaid rates, with the high cost of labor, gasoline, vehicle maintenance. I mean, it's very difficult because they pay and everybody pays differently with Medicaid. I think that's a lot of their problem. You can have two people going to dialysis. They'll pay $20 for one person to get in a car and $2 and some change a mile. And the other person, they'll pay $5 for them to get in your car, $2 and some change per mile. And you just can't make money at $5, $8 to get in the car. It's just costing too much. So I decided to pivot away from Medicaid and Fidelis because, and then the amount of paperwork they give you. I mean, I'm supposed to be an independent business owner, and I'm getting all these rules and regulations and paperwork. And
okay. Before we move on, I missed something. Why would one client be $5 and another be more?
Chris, you got me, but Medicaid does it.
And you don't know until after you do the transport, or beforehand? I mean,
oh no, beforehand, because when you pull up your Medicaid roster,
right,
you can see what they're paying for each person.
Okay.
And people don't realize Medicaid pays different amounts for different people. Maybe it's based on their Medicaid coverage. But you would think if they would just have a uniform transportation rate, then every year in Albany, they would know how much money they need to operate the transportation services.
And can you turn down the $5 transports? What happens?
Oh yeah, you can turn them down, but then you don't have no work. So now what are you going to do with your drivers?
Okay. Understand. You know what?
Yeah.
I wanna follow up on a point from the earlier discussion. You and I were discussing. It's basically you're not even working for yourself when you're getting money from the government. They lay out the rules, but you get to fix the van when it breaks down. And one of the rules I did not realize, which made me sort of better at my job, was, and correct me if I'm wrong, you said to me that you can't even buy a van that like holds, 4 wheelchairs because they have a regulation that you can only take one at a time. Did I misunderstand that?
Yes, they did that during the COVID, during the pandemic. They're
Okay.
starting to loosen up. But
Okay.
what happens when what if you're a big company, you have 20 vans and you're used to putting 3 or 4 wheelchair people on a van to make money. Now the pandemic comes along and they tell you you can't do that.
Right.
What do you do?
Right.
What do
Right.
you do? I
Okay.
mean, you're
Okay. I'm
losing
glad.
money.
I'm glad I got the clarification.
Yeah.
But we live in a world where rules change quick, and
Yes.
if your revenue income is dependent on Medicaid dollars, you're not the boss. They are. You know,
Yes.
I was told too that I talked to some other people that did that, and they would have to bring their vans down for like an inspection, and these people would be jumping up and down on their lift gates, treating their
Mm.
vans not the way you would treat your own van. And it
Right.
was just everything about the experience was degrading. You're not your own van, you're not your own boss, you got to do their paperwork. So at any rate, you were with Medicare for a long time, for since the
Yes.
beginning. And
Correct.
one of the things that we talked about is if you could have done it over again, you would never have even bothered. How much time, effort, money could you have saved if you never even bothered doing Medicare?
Well, I could have saved at least 100,000, 200,000 probably, because I wouldn't need all. Because if you do private pay, you don't need workman's comp. You can actually put people on a 1099.
Interesting.
Make them private contractors or drivers
Okay.
because you're a private pay company. So when you get into insurance work and government work, workman's comp, business insurance, and all the high costs of insurance, I mean, it just bites into the profits, and not only that, and getting back to the vans being inspected, that's a DOT inspection they're talking about, Chris,
Hmm.
and the DOT inspection is every 6 months.
Every six
So
months.
every 6 months in New York State. So I don't know about I don't know about other places, but New York is every 6 months. So every 6 months you got to bring your van in, and like they're doing, like you're saying, they're jumping up and down on it, and they do a thorough inspection, and their inspections are more stringent than a typical auto inspection. And if you have just like a little play in the ball joints, they make you change it. A little less. They make you change a lot of stuff. And if they don't like you for whatever reason, if you question them, then I've seen them make it hard on companies.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, can you hear the dogs barking?
Yeah, that's okay.
You know, I'm not going to pause the video. I'm just going to
No.
take you with me into another room. It's just ridiculous. For those of you that don't know, I'm in Costa Rica, and there's always dogs barking. We had some good luck earlier on our first interview.
Yes, we did.
Um, okay, so one of the things that was it's just as barky back here.
But
Um,
I can't hear it this
okay,
time.
okay. So one of the things that I found really interesting from the first interview, you decided to increase your business by doing courier
Oh,
service. What you
yes.
had said to me was that um, you had some kind of connection to lawyers. So
Yes.
go ahead,
I
take it from
used to,
there.
I used to work in a local courtroom as a court officer for about 6 years part time. So I got to meet a lot of attorneys. And so when I was looking for a way to pivot from the insurance companies and not go out of business and earn more revenue, um, you know, attorneys especially often running important documentation back and forth to each other for house closing and commercial closing and such, and they need things signed. You can run that paperwork back and forth, and you can make good money.
Well, I know nothing about the courier business. What would you possibly quote on something like that?
Well, if it's within a 5 mile radius, 7 mile radius, probably like $25, $30.
And that's just paperwork.
Yeah, and that's just paperwork.
Yeah, man.
And
That's
you can do, yeah, it's amazing. You can do packages for companies. You'd be just surprised at the amount of companies that have to get stuff delivered. Vital parts, auto parts stores that deliver auto parts. There could be a shop, on the outskirts that need a specific part to get a car done. I mean, they'll pay you to go get the part and bring it to them.
how much. How much? Okay, parts. How much of your business today is parts?
Probably like around 3% because we just started getting into this.
When
So, but
when did you figure that part out? Like a week ago, a month ago? When?
yeah, about a month ago when I was trying to put this courier thing together, I wrote down on a sheet of paper all the industries that could probably use a courier. And, because we do our own mechanic work in-house for my company. I have my own mechanic on staff. And when we go buy parts, I often see that the big parts distributors, they're always looking for drivers, always looking for help. So that's a sign that that's a potential customer.
I gotta say, you're an impressive guy.
Thank
I am.
you.
We were talking earlier about what I'm doing now, non-emergency sales, whatever. So, like, I was in this business for a long time,
Hmm.
and I didn't realize the value that I could bring to other people with the skills I had. Like, it meant nothing to me to grow my businesses. I was very good at picking up the phone and hustling and shit, but like that I could move that into a new area of my life. So the limitations were on me. And with you, it's literally the same thing. You're not
Yeah.
limited by the fact that you have a wheelchair van. The
No.
bottom line is products are products and they got to go. And you and I had a great
Bingo.
discussion earlier about, different ways. So, we talked about, gosh, medical labs, that you
Yeah.
actually have experience doing lab work.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
you do that today?
No, I haven't, but I'm trying to reach out to various medical facilities and doctor offices about doing lab pickup because some of the big lab companies, even though a lot of them have their own couriers, the thing with lab work is if they're short of staff, blood has a time limit on it before it's no good. So, that blood work has to get to the hospital lab or whatever lab is going to. It can't sit and wait for the next day for them to have an employee come in and get it. They have to get it, and often they'll hire taxi cabs to go pick them up, and they hire other companies to go get it because you have to do it. You can't wait.
But tell me again how you knew that.
Okay, I work part-time for Strong Hospital in the courier department. So my job was I had like 10 facilities. I would go around, pick up blood specimens, and everything was timed. And some specimens was time sensitive, and we knew that it's called stat. They'll text me a stat pickup. Look at, can you go here, pick up this blood, take it directly to the hospital? Stat, it's got to be in the hospital within an hour for whatever type of test they're doing. So that's how I learned about the courier industry and learned that, gee, that is true. The hospitals with these specimens they get, they can't sit them and wait. Some of them have to go, and they need to go now. So if they have to hire a taxi cab at $40, $50 to take it in, then that's what they have to do. There's no options.
Um, there was a point from earlier, our first conversation, that was so great. And it was, and I can't remember the full context, but it was basically that, while nobody wants this crap economy with $5 gas and terrible inflation, that it's
Right?
creating opportunities. And
Yes,
and,
it
and
is.
I don't know what industry we were talking about, But you were saying that, like, because I was asking you about the sales process, and you said that they are giving you the time of day where they wouldn't give you that time of day because the economy's so bad.
Oh, right. I remember. Yeah, we were discussing, how easy it was to call these places and get my foot in the door. And, 5 years ago, it might have been a little bit more difficult.
Right.
But now with the economy so crappy, high wages, high fuel, high maintenance costs, and all these charges being passed on to these consumers, companies are more willing now to look at any way they could save $5, $10. So they're more willing to talk, I believe, now than before.
Are you looking at rebranding yourself as
Yes,
like just a transportation guy, all things like, or are you gonna
yes.
focus on just being a non-emergency thing? I mean,
I'm going to rebrand as a transportation company,
just straight
just
up
a transportation.
transportation. Uh,
Yeah, and make medical one of the things that I do, because often with some customers, because we do private pay work, I'm still competing with other non-emergency transportation services, and we charge $55 each way to transport somebody to a medical facility. Other companies might charge $25 each way, 35, but I have to charge. I mean, I'm in business to make a profit. So, and when people hear medical transportation, they often assume, well, if XYZ company charges 25, why is he charging 55?
right.
It creates a problem. So I think I need to rebrand Dependable Transportation Services. We do medical transportation. We do, we can take to restaurants, hotels, funerals. I want to brand it almost like a car service, in other words, Chris, because when you
Interesting.
hear car service, you're going to pay a little bit more.
Interesting. There was another part of our discussion that was around airports and hotels.
Yes, we discussed because wheelchair service, older people need transportation back and forth to the airport, to local events. So, and when you brought that up, and that's a good point, that's one I really haven't thought about. Hotels,
Yeah. Yeah.
that'd be a good
You
one
know
because
what
they
it
they
was?
have
What
they
it
all have.
was, it was the big point that you brought up was tell them how the charity work. Tell us about the
Oh
charity work.
yes, the charity. Yes, yes. We have a book here called the Wish Book, and I'm sure other parts of the country, other cities must have something similar. And the Wish Book comes out every so often, and I get it, and I look for nonprofits that need help, need something. And I did have a used van at one time, a Dodge Grand Caravan, and I donated it to a nonprofit. This was when I first started, and they let me put my name on it. This being sponsored by Dependable Medical Transportation. They got the vehicle. I got promotion whenever they used it and drove it. People saw my ad. Plus, they also gave me a lot of work at their facility at one time.
Really? Okay,
Yeah.
look. This is something that I've been wanting to discuss further in one of my videos, but I don't make videos anymore except for when I do an interview. And that is, nothing in life is for free,
No.
even when you give it away. And the thing is, like we had the discussion earlier about going to churches. Like
Yes.
it could just be a policy that my company gives away 3 hardship transports or whatever the case is.
Yeah.
But like so if you call on a customer and they say your prices are too expensive, and you say, listen, I understand my prices are more than you can pay, but I want you to know I offer 3 hardship cases a month. If you ever need someone to go somewhere and they don't have the money, I'm giving you one of my 3 hardship cases. You will get that back. You know,
Yes.
the person I would kind of be hesitant on who you give those hardship cases to, but if you
Absolutely.
give it to a decision maker, somebody that can hook you up in the future, they will. They will.
Yes.
So
They
again,
will. They will.
You donated a car. I think you deserve an award for that. Let
Yeah,
alone business. But
right.
if you had to do it over again, you would donate the car. It brought you that much. I mean,
Yeah, I would. I would. And you can buy a used van. I mean, obviously they're used vehicles. You're not going to buy a brand new one. I'm not Tom Golisano, but you buy a fairly decent used van for them. So what? You pay 4 or 5 grand. What is it going to cost you to do advertising? On the internet or TV commercials or something else. There's no better advertising than the word of mouth. And it still rings true today, and that's
what
never going to change.
what is the city? You're in Rochester?
Yes,
What's the population of Rochester?
it's about 300,000 people.
Okay. And like, what is your reputation there? You've been in business 4 years. How well known? If I go into a hospital, if I go anywhere, everybody know about you, or is there still room to grow? I mean, what's the position like?
Oh, there's still a lot of room to grow.
Okay.
There's still a lot of most people, most hospitals have heard of me, but the hospitals are really big. It's like a few people at each hospital, each location, who have heard of my company. But there's a lot of room for growth.
Okay. So
A lot of
so
room for growth.
if you're a newbie, what is your advice to a person thinking about getting into this industry? Should they stay away? Should they run away? $5 gas?
I would say if they get in the business and if they want to do the insurance work, that's fine. But be careful how much you do with that and get into the business with another stream of income coming in. Try to tie your transportation service into some of those things we talked about earlier, like working with a nonprofit, going to the churches, going to senior living centers, assisted living centers, where people want to go out to dinner and weddings and things like that. Try to bring in some other revenue as well. So this way here, if wherever you're located, if Medicaid cuts their rates, you're not affected by it 100%.
What would you recommend someone even bother with Medicaid?
I would say no. I would say just do private pay.
Well, okay. Here's another question I had for you. You have been an entrepreneur in different ways your whole life,
Yes.
but sales is a little different. Uh, 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 you know, my opinion, one of the things I like about non-emergency, I've never had somebody say, you know what, I'm overwhelmed with non-emergency companies, contacting me. That never happens. I
Oh
almost
no.
always get, yeah, send me the information. And my question to you is, were you always comfortable selling? Just tell me about your sales experience.
Yeah, I was always comfortable with selling. And of course, I think the reason why, Chris, they're always open to getting information on a new transportation provider because they're always looking to see what type of service they can get. Because unfortunately, with this business, the bigger you are, the more staff you need, the more drivers. And drivers have a bad day. They're your front people. A hospital has a bad experience with your driver, they're looking for another transportation service to deal with.
I will say this.
So,
It's one of the things I do not like about non-emergency is
yeah,
that if you say no to a customer, no, I'm just overbooked today, you're 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 the last call from then on. You know,
yes, you
I
are.
mean,
Yes, you are.
there's not a lot of room for error. Like I will say
No,
that, you know, it's fairly easy, in my opinion, to get your name, your pamphlet, your whatever in front of the right people. But yeah, it's a tough business in that respect.
it is. It is a very tough business in that respect. It is. I mean, sometimes you can't help it. You're just booked, and they have you, and they need you like right now when you have other obligations. And I always tell the facilities, I don't work on. I'm not trying to get all the work I can. I want enough work for the day. I need enough passengers to fill my schedule for the day. I don't want quality. I don't want quantity. I want quality.
Sure.
So there's only a limited number of seats every day. And, I'm sorry that I can't be of service to you, but I can't jeopardize my existing customers as well. And most of them appreciate that. They don't like it, but they appreciate it because they know you really care about your passenger.
Yeah.
Because companies, I knew somebody that had a bigger company than mine at one time, and they lost everything because when Medicaid and Fidelis and these guys call them, yeah, send it over, send it over, send it over. But then you can't do it all. And then you got to call them and send it back. And then these customers, they know you're coming and you don't show up, you get a bad reputation quick.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
It takes one driver to ruin your
yes.
name at a facility, or, it's just,
Yep.
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough.
Yeah, you really got to be hands-on. And I would recommend getting a good billing company. Don't hire an individual to do your billing. I've done that in the beginning. I've had 2 different operations managers, and they both killed business.
A billing company.
Yeah, billing company.
Interesting.
You can go to like Oprah is one. There's a bunch of them listed on the Medicaid site, on a person's Medicaid page.
Right.
They have billing companies that you send them your information.
But for private pay?
Oh, no, not for private pay.
Okay.
I'm just saying if somebody was going to do insurance work,
okay,
my experience is,
get a billing.
Because the billing is such a big process. I don't want to get off topic, but it's important to know that the billing process is very big, and you got to really learn to do that. And I would recommend hiring a professional company, not hire somebody off the street, because it's
got to be
people get jealous quick.
Paid. Yeah, it's perfect or you don't get paid. So,
yeah.
Well, look, man, I appreciate you being here for round 2 in the same day.
Yeah.
My heart has been in my chest this whole time. Like,
I
sure hope
that's
I did it correctly this time.
I hope so.
I almost feel like if we had to do it a third time, like we got the routine down.
yeah, I know, right? We do.
But look, man, I appreciate you being here, and hopefully we can visit again sometime in the future and see how you're doing. But in the meantime,
if somebody wants to email me, they can email me at Mathieu, Mathieu 72 at yahoo.com, and that's Mark with a K, Mathieu 72 at yahoo.com.
Yeah, send me.
I'll be glad to help anybody.
Send me your email. Send me whatever links, and I can put it in the description.
Yeah.
We can put the video out. But
yeah,
man, good talking to you. And
you too, Chris. We'll have to do it again.
All righty. All right.
Yep.
Talk to you.
All right, my friend.
Bye-bye.
Yep. Bye.